Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you are new, I'm Nasir Ahmad Mahbub. I'm creating videos to master you on networking concepts. Today we are diving into MSTP or Multiple Spanning Tree Protocol. It's advanced protocol for managing VLAN traffic in large network. In this video, we will break down what MSTP is, why is it important, and how to configure in this network diagram. So grab your coffee and notebook. Let's get started. First, let's understand what MSTP is. Multiple Spanning Tree Protocol, or MSTP, often known as MST. It is defined in IEEE 802.1s as an enhancement of a Rapid Spanning Tree Protocol, or RSTP. It allows you to group multiple VLANs into a single spanning tree instances, reducing CPU and memory usage on your switches, while RSTP is creating single instance per VLAN over the network. Now, let's see why MSTP is important for large network. Well, in large networks with hundreds of VLAN running one spanning tree instance per VLAN can overwhelm your switches. For example, in this network infrastructure, we have 80 VLANs and we are using RSTP or rapid-pvst plus for VLAN management. Rapid-pvst plus is load balancing by assigning different root bridge for each VLAN over the network. For example, from VLAN 1 to 40, we are selecting switch 1 as a root bridge and using this path. While from VLAN 41 to 80, we are selecting switch 2 as a root bridge and using this path for data transfer. Keep in mind that these both networks are one physical network but divided into two logical networks for each root bridge and data transfer for better understanding of RSTP function. Now the problem is every 2 seconds each RSTP instances are exchanging BPDUs to discover network topology. It means that every 2 seconds it exchanges 40 BPDUs for switch 1 root bridge and 40 BPDUs for switch 2. It means total 80 BPDUs are exchanging. Sending, receiving, and processing these BPDU can use the resources in switches as well as network bandwidth. Now, MSTP solves this by letting you map VLANs into MST instances or MSTI. This not only improves the efficiency but also enhances traffic load balancing across your network. For example, we can create two instances, one for 1 to 40 VLANs and second instance for 41 to 80 VLANs. Instance 1 use switch 1 as a root bridge and instance 2 use switch 2 as a root bridge. And here only one BPDU exchange per instance and prevent resource usage as well as network bandwidth. We have two key concepts for activating the MST. The first is dividing big network into MSTP regions, and the second is creating or mapping VLANs to MST instances. MST regions. We can divide the network infrastructure into regions, which each region has number of switches with number of instances. After we created or divided the network infrastructure into regions, each region has the following details. First, region name or a unique name for each region. Second, revision number, a number representing a version of MSTP configuration. After we have identified the region, it shows how many switches each region has. Currently, we have 3 regions with Asia regions, Europe regions, and USA regions. And for the time being, we are going with the Asia network infrastructure or Asia region. There are 3 switches in the core of this network interconnected in a ring system or redundant links. The second key concept is mapping VLAN into MST instances. Or we can create a multiple MST instances to assign different groups of VLANs. For example, we have VLAN 10 for HR, VLAN 20 for training, VLAN 30 for IT department, VLAN 40 for finance, and VLAN 50 for guest Wi-Fi. We can map VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 into instance 1 and VLAN 30, 40, and 50 into instance 2. For complete MSTP configuration for this region, I have created 5 steps. In the first step, we are checking default MSTP configuration. In the second stage, creating VLANs with VTP management plus trunk link configuration between the switches. In third stage, we will configure the MSTP for all connected switches. In the fourth stage, defining root bridge for each instances. And finally, we will verify the MSTP configuration. Now let's jump to the CLI. I have prepared this configuration model in GNS tree and will share you the complete lab instruction in next video. Step 1 or default MSTP configuration. By default, modern switches are configured by RSTP Plus or RSTP, and we can activate the MSTP by entering the following command. Open switch 1, enter into configuration mode, type spanning tree mode MST. Now let's check default MSTP configuration by show spanning tree MST. As you can see, by default we have MST 0 instance with all VLANs including it, and MST 0 is also called internal spanning tree or IST. Also, MST 0 is not recommended to use for the active VLANs. In the below, as you can see, the MST port cost, it has a different port cost for different speeds. Also, if the link is 100 Mbps, so the port cost is 200,000, and if the link is 1 gigabit, so the port cost is 20,000. And if the link is 10 Gbps, so the port cost is 2,000. And if the link speed is going higher, so the cost will get lower. For step 2, please watch this video for how to create VLANs, VTP, and trunk link configuration for all the switches. Step 3, or it's time for configuring the MSTP on all switches. Open switch 1, go to the configuration mode, type spanning tree mode MST, spanning tree MST configuration, name Asia region, revision number 1, create instance 1 for VLAN 20 and 10, and create second instance for VLAN 30, 40, and 50. Go to switch 2 and switch 3 and enter the same configuration. Successfully configured the Asia region with 2 instances, each instances with having its own VLANs. Step 4, or selecting the root bridge for each instances. In this stage, we will select switch 1, the root bridge for instance 1, and selecting the switch 2 as a root bridge for instance 2. Open switch 1. Enter into the configuration mode, type spanning tree MST1 priority 4096, and then type spanning tree MST2 priority 8192. So by first command, we have select this switch as a root bridge for instance 1, and the second command is that we select this switch as a backup root bridge for the second instance. Now open switch 2, go to the configuration mode, and type the same command, spanning tree MST1 priority 8192, and then type spanning tree MST2 priority 4096. So by typing these two commands, we have select switch 2 as a root bridge for instance 2 and backup for instance 1. Step 5, or the last stage. Once we have applied all the configuration, it's important to verify everything is set up correctly. Thank you so much for being with me till now, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button for supporting me to prepare more networking videos.